Hey everybody, welcome to the full button tutorial on the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. Typically I like to go from left to right and then work my way up top, finishing with the screen. With that said, let's begin. Starting on the door, the first button here is the window lock, so passengers can't open their windows, and we have all 4 window switches with a little lip so you can feel. There's even lights that light up at nighttime. These window switches are going to be 1 touch down, 1 touch up all around, so it's hands-free operation. Above the window buttons, we have the settings for the seat memory for 2 driver positions. All you have to do to set it is hit set and the seat position that you want it to save to, and then by simply pushing this, it'll go to the setting that you had it set to. In front of the window switches are the 2 buttons for the door locks. Like all Toyotas, there are 2 little nubs on the lock button, so you can just feel for that. That's going to match the key fob. And then there's no toggler. We just have a left or a right, and we can toggle the mirrors on the sides there. Then just push it again to put it in the neutral position. There's also the auto folding feature, which will fold the mirrors when the truck turns off, or we can manually fold them on the fly. Say we're driving on a really tight trail. Down below there are 3 buttons. Starting with the one on the left is the button for the lumbar support. It is only a 2-way lumbar support, so there's no up and down. It's in the same spot, just forward and back. Then you have the recliner for your upper back, and then I have the forward and back motion, the height or lowering, and a twist. So it does a slight twist as well, so you can find the most comfortable spot. And down below on the floor, like all Toyotas, you have locking floor mats. You'll see the arrows line up when it's locked. If you do a quarter turn, the floor mat will actually release. So you just want to make sure you pull on the floor mat to check that it's locked in place. Moving up the dash is a simple lever to release the hood. And working our way up, we have the lever and buttons for the trailer braking. So we have the gain lever over here that we can adjust on the fly, and you can increase and decrease. If you've never done this before, you just hook up your trailer, you go onto a straight path, you drive about 10 to 15 miles an hour, and you can adjust the braking on how it feels. Moving up above that, we have the master switch for the accessory plug. That's going to be your inverter in the back. And I have the button for the power back door. I can push and hold this to open it, and then push it quickly to stop it, and then push and hold to close. That is height adjustable as well, so make sure you check out my video on how to adjust that height on the fly. And of course the release button for the gas door. Working our way up, the last row of buttons is the button for the automatic high beams, which will activate when the headlights are put into auto. I have the automatic braking, aka park assist, off button, so that's when you're backing up if it senses you're close to something, or if you're pulling forward. The parking sonar will beep faster as you get closer to things and brake if you're about to hit. But say you're connecting to a trailer, you need to turn that off on the fly, you can turn that off like that. Right here I have the brightness lever for the gauges and interior buttons, so I can dim them down at night if they're a little bright, or lock them into the most brightest position. And my favorite button on the whole entire vehicle, when the fog lights are on, I can change the fog light color to amber or bright white. Love it. Onto the steering wheel is an electronic adjuster for the wheel, so I can raise it and lower and telescope it electronically. On the sides of the steering wheel, we have a stalk on the left and the right. Starting with the left stalk, this stalk operates the headlights. So the most bottom position says DRL off. The next position is auto, which will operate the auto lights. They'll come on when it's dark out. Parking lights, which will give me taillights on and dim lights on the outside with buttons inside lit up. And full headlights on, so say it's daytime but you want the taillights on, say it's raining during the day, I have that weird sun angles, or it's foggy or snowing during the day, you can manually turn everything on. And this is the fog lights on and off right here. The stalk on the right operates the wipers, so there are 3 positions of clicking this lever down. The first click down will put it into the auto position, and you can change how sensitive the rain sensing wipers are. The second click down will go into low, and the third click down will go into high. Those are going to be a constant speed. This area here is for the rear wiper only. It's in the off position now, but if I turn it forward once, it'll go once in a while. And if I turn it forward again, it'll be a constant on, back and forth for the back wiper. Above is just the symbol. If I pull this towards me, it'll wash the front windshield, and if I push it away, it'll wash the back windshield. Onto the steering wheel itself. We have 2 pads of buttons. All the buttons are in the front. On the left side of the steering wheel, starting from the top to bottom, this is the back button. This is the hang up and answering button. The back button works well with the OK button, aka the selector button. These two buttons are going to operate during the Speedo/MID cluster, and the arrows go side to side for my different pages. And I can also go up and down, which I'll show you when we get to the MID section. I can toggle volume up or down, and I can do voice commands through Toyota, or I can operate Siri or the Google Assistant by pushing and holding. On to the right side of the steering wheel, we have more driving dynamic buttons. This button here will turn the cruise control on or off. The button next to it is going to operate the lane tracing assist, which gives you gentle steering input to keep you in the center of your lane, which is going to activate with the adaptive cruise control, which we also call dynamic radar cruise control. You can increase the speed or decrease the speed like this. You can also resume, say you stepped in the brake, or you can cancel it altogether. Now remember, all Toyotas that have the dynamic radar cruise also give you the ability to do the old school constant speed cruise control. So if you push this, it'll go through the two different types of cruise controls. The symbol for the adaptive cruise control has a little car with an arrow on it that looks like this. And then you'll see it changes to just the arrow when it's in the constant speed. Below that cruise control mode button is the sensitivity for the system. So it's no longer just for the cruise control, because we now have proactive driving assist, which I'll explain later on during the MID section. But this will change the sensitivity level, which is also displayed up top. You'll see on the bottom of the screen here, if I selected the screen for adaptive cruise mode, I have a much larger picture of those sensitivity levels being changed. Below are a couple music buttons. I have the seek and track here for going back and forth in my songs or my presets for the radio, and of course I have the mode for AM, FM, Bluetooth, Sirius radio, etc. Or if I push and hold this, it'll pause and mute the music. Onto the Speedo Cluster and MID section. So this vehicle actually has Toyota's new 12-inch Speedo Cluster /MID. I have a separate video, which please check out in the links down below, which dives very deep into this, but we are going to dive into some of the settings that are unique to the Land Cruiser. However, for a full comprehensive analysis of this screen and cluster, I do recommend you check out that video, because I'm trying to keep the overall tutorial concise, and it's kind of sliced up so you can pick which stuff you want to go over. But using the arrows on the steering wheel like I showed you, you'll see the inside of each gauge is going to change. So I have 3 different pages for a total of the option of 6 MIDs. As I will explain in the video for the tutorial of this MID, you can just push and hold the OK button, and you can go to the side and you can start changing what it shows. But to save you the time, I want to go over the basics on what's unique to this vehicle. So very quickly, we have the fuel on the bottom right, the engine temperature on the bottom left, top left is the outside temp, top right is the time. We have a whole bunch of little symbols for which options are on, digital speed, and the settings is available right over there. Now when I go through the different pages, like I said, it's going to show different things, but once I get to the settings, I can hold OK. And this is where I can go through a lot of different settings on this vehicle. So starting with the heads-up display, HUD stands for heads-up display. That's going to show a little hologram on the windshield of different information. So you'll see that's going to reflect on the glass. And I can pick whether that's on or off, and I can even change the brightness and the position. So you'll see on the bottom of the screen, it'll say OK for on and off, and hold OK for settings. So if I hold OK, this is where I can change some of those settings that I just mentioned. You can make that heads-up display really fit your rider height and eye sensitivity needs for the brightness. Next is the lane departure alert. This has been with Toyota for a while. That's the little symbol of the car going out of its lane. This is standard in Toyota Safety Sense, which is standard on every Toyota now. It gives you gentle steering input to get you back in your lane, and it'll give you a beeping as well. If I hold OK, I can change the type of alert. So now it's not only a beep, I can also do a vibration instead if I want to. So say I can't hear, now I have the option to feel, and I can change the sensitivity with it right there. Next is blind spot monitor. So this is going to use sensors in the rear quarter panels to tell you if there are cars riding in your blind spot, and you'll get a little yellow light on your side mirrors. If you signal into that lane, it's going to strobe. By holding OK, you can change the timing, aka the sensitivity, the brightness of the lights, and the buzzer alert as well. Next is pre-collision. This is the bread and butter of the Toyota Safety Sense system. This is going to sense cars and people. So it's using the radar device in the front of the car and the camera. I can change the sensitivity or I can turn it on or off. That's about it. Next, proactive driving assist. Proactive driving assist is part of Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. It's going to give you acceleration, deceleration, and assistance with the steering depending on what it senses. So it's basically going to do a lot of the work while you're driving the vehicle to make it easier for the vehicle to drive. It's also going to sense obstacles as well. So for the proactive driving assist, if I hold OK, I can change the sensitivity, turn the steering assist on or off, the deceleration assist on or off, and the obstacle anticipation assist on or off. And like I mentioned, the obstacle anticipation assist system is detecting obstacles in the road, bicycles, and people and cars. So while you're driving, it's looking out everywhere to tell how to give you steering input, deceleration, and pretty much any metric of driving that's needed to help you avoid a collision with one of those obstacles. Moving down, we have the parking sensors. This is called a lot of different things. It's called intuitive parking assist, parking sonar. I'm a little old school, so I still use the term parking sonar. This is the feature that beeps faster the closer you get to stationary objects. So I can simply turn that on or off. This is the feature where we had that quick on-off button for the automatic braking, which is included with this. Next is rear cross traffic alert. This is the sister to blind spot monitoring system. They usually go hand in hand. This is unique because this feature will actually beep 4 times fast repeatedly to let you know it senses movement. So specifically cars driving perpendicular to you and sometimes pedestrians. Rear camera detection is what specializes in the pedestrians. This is going to give you a little symbol and detect pedestrians walking behind you when you're in reverse. So I only have on or off for the rear camera detection, but for rear cross traffic alert, if I hold OK, I can change the volume. Nothing crazy, but nice to have the option. Safe exit assist, also new for Toyota Safety Sense, will use the blind spot monitor system to alert you when you're about to exit the vehicle. When you open up that door, it's going to flash and it's going to strobe those blind spot lights on the mirrors and beep really fast to let you know it's not safe to exit the vehicle. So it's going to sense oncoming cars and moving objects coming quick on your vehicle when you're about to get out to prevent you from getting hurt. The road sign assist is updated for Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 to read more types of road signs. If you hold OK, you can change the method to be above speed limit, or I can do visual and audio as well, or nothing at all. And the level, I can set over the speed limit what it's going to do for me, depending on how fast over the speed limit I want it to warn me. Onto vehicle settings. If I hold OK, I have a couple different things here I can change. So the brake suggestion, this is not new to Toyota. It's standard on Toyota Safety Sense. This is going to sense if you're swaying back and forth. It's kind of the same thing as the sway warning. If it thinks you're driving tired, it's going to alert you and suggest you take a break and give you like a little timer until you can drive again. Next is traffic jam assist, which is new for Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. This is going to use the adaptive cruise control, aka the dynamic radar cruise control, to give you steering and braking input at speeds up to 25 miles an hour. So say you're in a traffic jam, this is going to take the work off of you so that you can relax and let the car kind of do its thing, so that you're not getting those sore legs from braking and accelerating every 2 seconds. Next is a driver monitor camera recording. So if you want your driver monitor camera to be recording, you can select that on. Lane center assist. So for lane center assist, you can turn it on or off. This is simple, just keeps you in the center of your lane, giving you some light steering input. Dynamic radar cruise control. A couple different settings here. The extended resume time I can set on or off, the acceleration level, the guide messaging, which is the symbols on the screen, and the curve speed reduction, which uses the PDA system to reduce your speed taking turns. I can adjust the sensitivity to that as well. The front cross traffic alert is just like rear cross traffic alert. It's going to sense movement when you're pulling forward, like cars coming on perpendicular or people, and it's going to beep 4 times fast. I can turn it on or off or change the sensitivity like that. For the power back door, there are some opening adjustment settings, so we have 5 different levels. But be sure to check out my video where you can customize it to the inch. And I can change the volume of the beep when I open and close it as well. Next, I can change the braking. So if I'm towing or off-roading, I can go over here and I can do electric braking or electric over hydraulic, which is going to combine the electric and hydraulic braking systems for enhanced braking power. But the sensitivity of the brakes, depending on what I'm doing, I can change on the fly. Very convenient if I want to maximize the way the brakes work for what I'm doing. The tire pressure warning system. We have a lot of different stuff now, which people really like. I can do my tire rotation. I can set the settings. I can even change the units. So when you customize the air pressure amount that you want, the units, and you want to rotate your tires, all kinds of great off-roading options right there. Scheduled maintenance, I can reset the reminder, same thing as the oil maintenance. And the rear seat reminder for checking for pets and kids. I can turn that off if I don't like the annoying ding. For driver monitor settings, I can just turn the driver monitor alert on or off. That's the little camera that's right above the steering wheel stalk that's watching you to see if you're paying attention. And the stoplight display, the little red bars on the bottom, can you see them? When I push the brake, if I don't like those, I can turn those off. On to meter settings. I can change the language, units, and the meter type. So say I want it to just be 1 gauge or only digital. However, I do like the dual gauges. I went a little too quick. There we go. And I can change the style of the gauges right here. This stuff's all included in the tutorial, so I'll just show you this. A couple different styles. Really neat. And I can change the different information that shows. So this is all stuff that's standard on the 12-inch screen here. I'm not going to dive super deep because we did a lot, but there is more to learn about this display, so do check out the video. I just wanted to do stuff specific to this vehicle, but yes, you can change what those MIDs show. You can set the menus or the pages to your unique settings. It is great. Let's move on to buttons near the shifter. For buttons near the shifter on the Land Cruiser, there is a lot of different stuff going on. Some things that are new to Toyota that we haven't seen or haven't seen in a while. So starting with over here, we now have available a locking center differential and locking rear differential. So I'm just going to cut to the chase. When you're in 4-wheel low and you're off-roading, you can lock the center differential if you want all 4 wheels to travel at the same speed. But say you don't need all 4 wheels to travel at the same speed and you only want to lock up the rear, you can lock up the rear right there. Now you might ask, why would I want to lock anything up and make the wheels travel at the same speed? Well, if one wheel is slipping, say your back right wheel and it's spinning, the other wheel that is on dry pavement is not going to do anything because that's your drive wheel. You can lock them together and that wheel that's on a traction surface can gain traction and get you out. If you want to multiply that, you have the option right over there. Even better for off-roading, you can electronically disconnect the stabilizer bar, and that's going to allow the axles to travel individually and really give you strong articulation, as shown by this wheel kind of going over the bump. That's going to help you crawl over things a lot better so the vehicle's suspension and axles can do all the traveling and not the vehicle's body. Of course, I have the track control and vehicle stability control off button. If you push and hold that, that'll turn all those features off. You might want to turn those off if you don't want any of the power to be cut to any of the wheels, because you want to have that full power to the wheels. So you have that button right there to turn that off. And we have the lever over here. It's going to be in the high 4. And then we have the push down for low 4. So I would always recommend going to neutral at a stop, push and turn it down to low 4 for your 4-wheel low. Then we have the electronic parking brake, which disengages on its own, and the brake hold feature. This lets you come to a stop and then take your foot off the brake while the vehicle stays in drive and stays stopped. Really nice. By the shifter is the decline assist control. So this button will actually manage the braking for you while you focus on the steering going down steep descents, or crawl control. So the crawl control is going to be in 4-wheel low only. It's a low speed cruise control for off-roading, and then you can select your speeds right over here. Multi-train select also used for off-roading. If I push this, there's a little animation over here and I can use that mode selector through the different types of terrains, and it's going to alter the 4x4 system, throttle input, and even steering and braking to handle those different terrains. I'm using this selector right over here. It will default in a few seconds over to drive mode, or I can just push it right now. And then I can go between sport, normal, or eco. There we go. I was going in the wrong direction. So this is gonna, you don't have to be stationary to change this. You can change this whenever. Sport's gonna give you more power. Eco mode is gonna power you down and save you gas. Normal is gonna be a blend between the two. Now for the shifter, I can even go into manual mode, and I can shift forward in the gears or backward in the gears like that. Really nice. And I have my wireless charger over here. But we can't forget inside here, the cooler box. So by pushing this button, I hope you can hear it. Whatever you need to stay chilled, pop it right in there. Cool it stays. In front of the shifter are some ports for charging, but there's one more button. The panoramic view monitor, so I can see around the Land Cruiser. I can pause it. I can change the style. So say I want to do an inside the car view or an outside the car view. There are even some settings here. So I can turn certain items off. For the park assist, I can change near or standard. So that's going to adjust some of the sensitivity. And even the vehicle body color, I can switch as well. Say I have a different color Land Cruiser. Really nice. For the climate control, a couple new things, but everything else is pretty much standard for Toyota. Dual zone climate with no turn dial, so we have the levers here. Of course, you can change the temperature for the passenger, or you can synchronize it and change everything as a whole. There is an automatic mode, which will do everything automatic for you, or you can change the fan speed yourself and the air direction with the mode lever. You can turn the system off like this, or you can do the front and rear defrost right next to each other for the cold weather. If it's really cold, you can turn on the heated seat, but since it's kind of warm out, I like the chilled seat, and I like the vents cool. Don't need that. It's a cinch. On to the right, you have the seat options for the passenger, but check it out. Nowhere near the steering wheel, but a heated steering wheel on and off. Really nice. Of course, there's recirculate, which the auto system will do on its own when it's needed, but you can turn it on yourself. And the rear climate, you can change from the front. So the rear passengers can change it on their own, but you can change it for them, or you can turn the whole rear vent system off. It's super simple, and it's a cinch. Another nice thing is these vents, if you turn them all the way to the right, you'll hear a little click that closes the vent. And your side round vents, turn them all the way to the side, and they're closed. All the way to the left, they're open. Next up, overhead features. So working our way up is the digital rear view camera. This is going to help you see better at a peripheral view. There is a home link for 3 different garage doors. I can flip it back to the normal mirror. But as you can see, I can see a lot better with this. Some settings here, I can go to the vertical, horizontal. I can rotate it. I can also zoom in and out, change the brightness, and set up my home link right over here. It's a little weird at first, but you do get used to it. And these will adjust the different levels when you're doing the settings. Working our way up, the lights feed off the electricity in my body. I can make the lights come on with the doors. I can turn all the lights on at once. I can open and close the moonroof. Of course, there's a manual shade. Or I can ventilate it up and down, which is really nice. And of course, it comes with 10 years or until the 4G network goes away of Toyota Safety Connect. Finishing up with the screen. So like I said, there is a whole separate video on this screen. However, I do want to show you a couple quick things. So be sure to check out the links in the description because I have a tutorial on this. When you connect to Bluetooth, your phone's screen is going to become this screen, but some of the Toyota features here, for general, I can change the date and time. I can turn the beep on and off. I can change the language in there. For display, I can turn the display off. I can change the brightness and the contrast. Sound and media, this is where I can mess with my equalizer to turn up the bass and the treble. For vehicle customize, there are some light settings, illumination, door lock settings, so I can change how loud this thing beeps when I lock and unlock it, if it even blinks when I lock and unlock it, which doors lock and unlock depending on what I do, put it in park, the key fob. Lots of great settings in here. I can even digitally change the climate control. I can see my trip information, and then here's where I can do my radio, have my power button right over here. But that pretty much wraps it up. I try to keep it concise. There's a lot of stuff with this Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser is back, guys. So if you're curious about it, I hope this video was unique and really dove deep into this Land Cruiser's features. Of course, I didn't take it off-road to show you. Let me know if you liked it. Please give this a like and a subscribe. If you subscribe, it makes all the difference and it helps my videos get out there for Toyota people who are interested, or people from other brands that are just curious about this vehicle. But with that said, a big thank you to my subscribers and supporters. As you know, I'll see you down in the comments. With that said, this is Brian signing out. Peace.